Daisy will look at a scenario in which the USA decides to attack NATO, with their target being Canada, Greenland, Iceland first, then Britain, then Europe. Then mainland Europe, then into Turkey. But let's see how their first offensive goes. With them being ready in both Alaska and Canada, but they decide to focus their first attack into Ontario, because Ontario has most people, literally, that's common sense. And Quebec, because there's a lot of people, and it's, well, right here is literally Ottawa and Ontario. And well, they're also trying to move into southern Canada, southwestern Canada, as they take Vancouver, a major city. With them moving ahead and realizing it's some U.S. territory. With them quickly taking Toronto. That was before Canada's armed and ready enough to fight back. Because not every Canadian has a weapon. With them moving in and seizing Newfoundland, so they can't use that to get supplies in. And then they decide to go for Greenland, because they need Greenland to secure their offensives. With them landing here, moving down the coast. Quickly, they take the capital and other towns and villages. Greenland is forced into surrender. As Canadian morale starts to crumble, with no weaponry coming in. Canada doesn't stop, though, even though they have no morale. With them completely surrounding all the Quebec cities and taking it out. Starting to move into Quebec, and then they decide to focus on the southern front. With eventually a decision of Canada to capitulate, with Canada completely surrendering, as they could get no weapons and they ran out of ammo, literally. Well, they quickly stomped Iceland, with them asking for help against Britain, so they ask for Ireland's help. And Ireland says anything to get revenge on Britain, literally. With the Americans slowing their offensive, obviously, because Britain's pretty strong, but like against America, not really. With Northern Ireland falling, because it was too hard to hold back against America. Quickly, they decide to invade Scotland, which doesn't have too much of a fight, because there's not much here. With Britain's troops ready to launch an offensive back, a counter-offensive. But it didn't go so well, and America takes this opportunity to land in Wales, and quickly take Liverpool and move towards London. With a few 100,000 Americans, maybe over 1 million now here. And they're all landing in Ireland to get ready for the next offensive. In the Nordics, or anywhere. With Russia offering help as long as their invasion of Ukraine and territories they want gets recognized as legitimate. With England on the verge of collapse, does one more offensive. This is the whole time for the Allies, which are now starting to leave the country, allowing this kind of setup. In a few weeks, they get everything out, and well, London falls. And what's left of the British army joins the French army. And while Russia's getting ready to start a surprise offensive with its ally Belarus, with them going on against Ukraine and Moldova, which leads to these nations joining against America, with these nations joining for America, which is kind of weird to think Russia and America working together. Wait, that's not good enough. I can't really color every single thing in and call it a day. With Britain having fallen, this was a major defeat for, well, NATO. But with Russia entering, Russia already occupies quite a bit of territory in Ukraine. And, well, it's probably expanded quite a bit with no support, just being up against Ukraine. Probably is like that at this point. With, well, Russia quickly storming them out. And they launch a large-scale offensive into the Caucasus, which managed to occupy territories in the northern Turkey. And they started a Baltic offensive to help out the Americans. With American help, they do this. With America now planning an invasion of Portugal, so they land here, move to the city of Porto, and take it. Their offensive kind of slows down because, well, there's resistance. They take Lisbon, and, well, they start moving into Spain. But Spain launches a counter-offensive, which doesn't go too far. With, well, Russia, with America's help, diving deeper into, well, Romania, Hungary, and Slovakia, and Poland. With an agreement made that they would both try to take out Scandinavia at this point. As it's like basically so much resources, which would be going to their enemies. And while Russia starts moving up and faster, it's offensive. Same thing as the Nordic nations against 3 million troops aren't doing much. With all the Nordic nations surrendering, Germany seeing another entrance with a weakness in Denmark, they move in, take Copenhagen, and quickly knock the nation out of the war. With them moving deep into Germany, but luckily Germany can launch a counter-offensive. With them managing to take without any counter-offensives, without any possible counter-offensive, because they fully secure these lands. So now they use to take out islands. And while the Mediterranean Sea is starting to come over under their dominance. And Bosnia is offered extra coastline if they join. And Serbia is offered parts of Croatia, Montenegro, and all of Kosovo if they join, which leads them to join. With American troops landing right here, Serbian and Bosnian troops move into Albania and Macedonia, taking them out, meeting up with the American troops in Greece. Another offensive is made into Hungary, which meets up with Russian forces. And while the Bosnian forces, with the help of America, start moving in and even start threatening Venice, which they start to encircle and then take. With their front line being like this, and then they move down and seize Rome. With all this being seized, they managed to also siege Italy. With Spain's morale completely collapsing, as well, Spain becomes a lost cause. With all of Europe, NATO deciding to withdraw their troops from there. But the American troops cross the Pyrenees and the Alps, taking out France's south coast. And France surrenders. Just kidding, no, they launch a counter-offensive. We're back to Napoleon times, not World War II times, when they were surrendering, for no reason, legitimately. Well, there was a reason, but, literally. With them breaking into southern Turkey, the front line in northern Turkey starts digging deeper in. With them moving into Thrace and taking Istanbul. Then Ankara falls. I don't think that's located where it is. And, well, Bulgaria starts losing, and, well, Romania is surrounded. So, well, they fall. Going to fall. And Austria, being a good target to open the front more on Germany, they decide. Operation The End of NATO begins. Operation End NATO begins. Which sees counter-offensive after counter. Which sees offensive after offensive. Landings in Normandy and Brittany. And, well, France's coast starts to fall. Although it's not that bad, though, because France does launch a few counter-offensives. One in the north, too. With Germany launching one in the Benelux, but goes nowhere and against, well, Russia in this area. in Poland. But at this point, their capabilities start crumbling. With them taking Marseille and Vichy, I guess that's the city there. And while they move in and they surround and take Paris, and while though French troops keep fighting, as they end up over there. Within the southern front, they start pushing north. And well, yeah, they start crumbling. This problem is, well, they're the only nation left, and they're trying to hold Poland. Well, Poland's left, Poland and Germany trying to hold up the full front. And well, eventually Warsaw falls, and Polish troops, what's left of the Polish army, retreats into Germany, which allows a stronger front. And well, they get kicked out of the Rhineland now, and fully kicked out of Czechia. Their coast is fully taken, but they're still fighting. Who knows why that's even logical. They think they can win, but I guess they lose again. So let's see how the peace treaty goes. Canada, Greenland, and Iceland. Ireland annexed Northern Ireland. And Russia annexed a lot of border territory, like Ukraine, Moldova, Latvia, Lithuania, like whatever is close. And Serbia annexed former Yugoslav territories, and so did, well, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and they made a puppet of Croatia, Slovenia, and, well, Albania. And that's pretty much all for today's video. Please like and subscribe. Why should you subscribe? Because we're trying to get to 2,900 subscribers by September 1st. So please subscribe. Bye, guys.